You know, when I was getting ready for this particular day and to read this next story in our book of Little Bear, it talks about how Little Bear pretends to do something, and I tried to think back about what it was like when I was a little girl pretending. We had a fireplace, and it had a white, kind of a marble base to it, and it seemed like a stage to me. So in my imagination, I thought many things could happen. It could be a ballroom or a party room or someplace. And so I always used to bring my dolls in front of that fireplace and pretend that I was one of these dolls, and we'd do these various parties and so on. These are little dolls. They are stand-up dolls. Actually, they are cards. And my mother used to work in a drugstore, and the card man used to come in from Hallmark, and every time he came in, he'd bring a new doll, and you could stand them up, and they could be in this party and do different things. These were my characters, and I spent hours and hours pretending with these characters. I really had a good time. I just was wondering if something like this ever goes on in your mind, if you ever pretend things. Okay, Bryant.
I pretended against my dad like I was in the World Series, and I was like the Giants, and my dad was like the White Sox, and like I'd have all these batters, and like I'd keep on hitting him because he doesn't know how to pitch.
Brittany Christie.
Sometimes when I get lonely, I take my blanket and it has like a hole in it, but it's stitched at the bottom. I put up my finger in and pretend it's a puppet, and then I pretend it's the bird we used to have, and then I pretend I'm Mrs. Jackson, and he talks about things. Oh, Miranda.
Miranda. Oh, you remember Miranda? That was way at the beginning of the year. Or
I pretended that I was a hunter, and I shot some deer, and I got meat, and people paid me for lots of money from the meat, and there was 2 poor men that I gave some of the meat for, too. I think I had 25 pounds.
You did. Now, this was something you were pretending when you were awake.
Yeah.
It wasn't a dream.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Last night, I was playing with my dolls, and I was pretending they were real, and then I wanted to pretend I was a baby, and I got my old baby cradle out, and I sat in it, and the bottom of the pot fell off, and I had to get my dad to put it back on.
You were pretending so hard you broke the furniture. Okay. Now we're going to go to reading about Little Bear. Today he's going to pretend that he's going to the moon, and you are going to read this particular story. What you need to do is to talk about how you're going to share that work. You've got a job now. And how are you going to share that story with your partner?
Okay. How about you read 2 pages and I read 2 pages? Or do you want to you read a sentence and I read a sentence? Yeah, sentence. That was like forever, huh? Do you want to read your page and me? Yeah, that would be a lot better because we did the sentences with Michael. Well, that didn't sound too good. Know why? Why? That was forever. So we'll do the page. You do the page. Yeah. How about 1 page each? And if there's 1 extra page, we'll share a sentence. Okay.
All right. For those of you who are ready, I'm going to give you your book, and you may find a spot somewhere to read. Rock, paper, scissors. You get a
look at this. He said, here is a house that looks just like my house.
Maybe I can fly like a bird, said Little Bear.
Maybe I can fly like a bird.
Silly. You can't fly like a bird. None of us can fly.
And maybe, said Mother Bear, if you jump up, you will come down very fast.
My, he said, here I am on the moon. The moon looked just like Robbie.
Yeah. What?
It ever either. Well, said Little Bear.
You've been doing a lot of reading and a lot of talking and a lot of deciding about who is going to take a turn and when. And now you're going to be writing about some of the pictures in the story of Little Bear Goes to the Moon. I'm interested in your ideas more than I'm interested in the way that things are spelled, so you need to not worry about that. It would be fun if what? If people could fly. Even me. What else are you thinking? Yesterday you did some writing, and today we're going to take it another step further, and we're going to look at what you wrote with your partner and then decide if there's anything else that you could do to make it even better than yesterday.
How do you spell it? Little. You got it right. I got little right? Yeah. You got right. Little Bear. Is that thought? Because that's not an A. What letter is that? T. That's a T? Yeah. That's a what? Oh, yeah. H. What letter is that? O. Is that T? Is that that? That. That? Yeah. That's T-H-A-T. How do you spell that? A.
Mine is, I would think that the moon was down. I'd take a parachute. The door opens only when the earth is over the moon. Period.
This is my picture, and it says, I think that he was feeling like he really was on the moon because he is bouncing all over, just like he was on the moon. The end. And here's my picture.
The bear. When Little Bear flew to the moon, he saw a house that you get your turn again. He saw a house that he thought it was his house.
How about your writing you did your writing, and then you had a friend listen to it, and then was there any change between the first writing you did and the editing writing that you did? Or?
I did Little Bear thought that the moon is great because he went to places he didn't go to, but then Kelly thought that we should erase go to. Then she told me how to spell never seen. That's how it
How did
changed.
you feel about the change?
I felt that it sounded a little better.
Okay, Kelly.
I needed some help with spelling some words, and Or didn't know how to spell some, so I asked Melinda and Daniel, and they helped
So you
me.
had other people that you used besides your partner. Okay. Anyone have anything else that they would like to give as a little more information about how things worked for you today with your partnership? And I'd like to hear about some things that went pretty well and maybe some things you need to work on.
We took turns reading our papers to each other, like we went around the square. So first Josh, then me, then Amanda, then Robbie, and we kept on doing it so we can read it and fixed our mistakes.
Twice it was me last.
Was it helpful to have someone else there doing this for you or with you?
That was very important because I had to be last. Always. We just kept on doing it like that. I always had to be last.
Was that all right?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it. Did you tell them that?
I told them no fair. Because
What happened then?
someone has to be last.
How do you work that out then? How did you work it out today?
Josh said that he wanted to be first, so then he did it, and then Linda did it, and then I did it, and then Robbie did it.
Then
Why don't
Josh,
you just
then
take turns
Linda,
being
then,
first?
then
That's what they did.
me. So I just kept on being last every time we did that.
Well, if this happens again, do you think maybe you might say something to them about it?
I did, but they
You
just
did.
but they just didn't do it. They just kept on going to Linda.
What could you do next time?
We switch it.
I don't know. Josh, what could you do next time?
Talk about it.
And how could you solve that so that he doesn't end up being last? He's feeling like he's last all the time.
Let him go first.
Somebody has to be last then still.
Yeah. What about my partner? Because she was the one being encouraged.
Is there a way they could fix that so that it doesn't feel like you're always the last person every time? Melinda?
You can take turns being first.
How would that work?
Like one person would be first, and then they would go, and they would just like maybe do boxes of paper to see who went first, and they would get in two, and then the two winners would do it against each other, and then that would be the order. And then what they would do is, after they went around, and the person who was first would go to the end, and they would keep on doing that.
So a way of sharing the turns might be playing a game to find yourself either first or second. Okay, another idea. Jillian.
You see, Robbie's last. So after they all read theirs, then Josh goes to the end, and then Robbie goes to the front. And then the two people that are in the middle, and then the next person that's behind Robbie goes there, and then the next person goes there, and then they've all been first once.
Or twice.
So clearly there's a way of dealing with 4 people. Normally we work with 2, but there is a way of working with 4 people, but it's a much more difficult thing to do.